Hey guys, so today we're doing these beautiful orange ballerinas, and I'm just starting by pushing down the client's cuticles. She had quite a lot of cuticles. She hadn't gotten her nails done for a while, but she's very used to gel extensions. Now I'm just taking this soft cuticle drill bit and I'm only applying a little bit of force. I have my drill on 4 as a setting. It goes all the way up to 30, so you can compare that to your drill to see how fast it's going. And here I'm just going in reverse. I like to do it this way because it's less pressure to the cuticles. I'm not speaking very loudly because my boys are sleeping and my youngest is sick, so I don't want to wake him up. He has been waking up enough already. So now I'm just taking a sander bit and I'm just going over the entire natural nail, and I'm just going at a very, very low speed, and I'm not applying any force. We're just trying to get rid of the shine from the natural nail. So I have this on 2 or 3. Now I'm just dusting off the excess nail dust, and I'm sanitizing my cuticle clipper, and I'm just getting rid of all the excess skin that's sort of removed from the nail in the beginning, and we don't want that hanging out over near the gel when we apply it. So now we're just brushing off the excess dust and getting everything ready for the application of the nail extension tips. And I love the glue that I use. It's from Maxistrata, and he has the one with a brush, and I couldn't believe it first when I tried it. I was like, this is gonna just glue shut right away, but it hasn't, and it lasts a really long time. So now I'm just showing you the speed I put on this clip is just 2 times. So what I do is I just scrape the glue down, and then I lay the end of the tip down so that the glue doesn't get underneath the nail and get onto the skin. And then I use the tips of my nails. You can use orange wood sticks if you don't have gel nails yourself, and I just sort of make sure everything's stuck on good, because it depends on the client's nails if you have to do this or not. Maybe their nails are flat or they're really curved, so you may have to do this, or you don't have to. And then I'm just repeating the process to all of the nails. When you're sizing the tips, just make sure that you're not getting a tip that's too small. You can always file down a tip that's a little bit too large but too small. There's really not much that you can do about it, so just make sure it goes from one end to the other. So now we're just cutting the nails to the client's desired size. It was kind of hard to be in the frame there because the duster is sort of in the way, but I tried. So you wanted kind of quite long, medium long nails. They ended up really pretty. So there I am, just making sure all of the nails are the same size. This is a really important step because of course it's hard to know when you're just cutting each nail by itself. I'm just doing a step that helps you just have to file less. My scissors are actually curved. I don't like that unless I'm doing almond nails, but I haven't been able to find straight scissors. I've ordered 2 online, but they always come bent or like curved like these ones. But I did just cut a little bit. It's hard to know how much you're cutting when I have curved scissors, so I just do the very minimum just so that I don't have to file as much. And now I'm just using a medium file to shape the nails to the client's desired shape. With this, I like to keep the file as straight as possible, not too much to the side, because then I feel like I don't get as sharp of a shape. So now I'm just sort of checking if all the nails are sort of even. I don't want some of them to be much longer than the others, but the pinky is smaller than the next finger, and then the middle finger is a little bit longer than the other fingers, so that's sort of what I go by. And then when I'm done, I sort of take a look and I see how long they are, and if I'm unsure, I can flip the hand over and see if the extensions are about the same, but it does also depend on the nail bed itself. So now I'm just filing a little bit on the ends of the tips just to make them smooth and make sure there's nothing that's too bumpy on the sides. So you want to make sure that the sides of the nails are as smooth as possible, and as little tip excess as you can, because if there's a lot of tip there, you can end up having bulky sides. These tips are also from Exostrata. I really like these. They're really thin, but they're not too thin, so it's hard to file. I used to have well, I do use other tips, but they're really thick, and I found that switching over to these really cut down my prep time, because the prep is of course the most important thing, but it was also what took me the longest, and I actually did have to use a drill bit to drill down the nail tips because they were that thick, and it just depended on the natural nails I was working with. Sometimes it was easy, sometimes it was harder, like with flat nails. Then I'm just taking a buffer, kind of a coarse buffer, just to buff off all of the shine from the tips and make sure everything's smooth. Here I'm just perfecting the shape as I always do. I was just looking at the nails when I was cleaning them, and I did feel like the natural nail was still a little bit shiny. I don't know why, but I didn't want to risk it, so I did go in with a hand file just to rough up the natural nail really gently, just a few strokes up and down, just to make sure that everything's nice and white is sort of what we go by. Alright, there I am, just brushing everything really well off before we start the prep. So here I'm using a dehydrator onto the natural nail only. And now I'm just gonna prime the nails, and this only goes onto the natural nail as well. Now I'm just applying a small amount of base gel onto each nail, and I'm taking a small brush and sort of buffing everything in really well. I find that with this base gel, I just like to use a very small amount. It lasts a really long time, though it's not too pricey. It's a fairly good price, especially for how long it lasts, and I like to use the small brush rather than the brush in the tube. I just find that I'm able to sort of buff it really well into the nail. So with this, less is more, definitely. So now I'm just taking a builder gel. It's a really pretty color. This was the first time I used this color. When I ordered it, I didn't know it was gonna be, I'm not sure if you can't really see that on camera, but it's a little bit jelly pink. So it's like a raspberry jelly pink, and my clients don't typically go for that kind of color, but it's really pretty anyway. The reason I'm using it, even though we're doing orange nails, is simply because the order from the clear gel that I normally use didn't arrive on time, and I only have IBD gel on hand, and it really stings in the lamp, so I didn't want to use that, and I feel like it sort of falls. It doesn't cure right away, or the top layer doesn't freeze when I put it into the lamp, so I feel like it drops a little bit, but this gel just stays perfectly put exactly how I put it in the lamp. So what I do is I just try to get as close to the cuticle as I can, and then I just work the gel down, and then I flip the hand over. I like to do that so that the natural gravity just pulls down the gel in a beautiful curve so that the apex is in the right spot, and I feel like I can see better what I'm doing or how the gel is falling if I flip it. So just make sure that you're holding the client's finger straight and that it's not leaning towards left or right when you flip it over. So that's really important. Just make sure that you're controlling the finger. When you put the thumb in, just make sure that the client is only putting the thumb into the lamp on the edge of your workstation, and that you make sure to ask them to keep it as straight as possible, at least for the first 10 seconds while the gel is freezing on top. But with the rest of the nails, put the entire hand in, and of course ask them to keep it as straight as possible. Because some people sort of lean their hands to the left or the right when they're in the lamp, and that can make the gel fall to the sides. So then you're not only going to just have to file that off, but you're going to be losing the structure on the other side of the nail, so you will probably have to add on before you get into filing. So just make sure that you check when you're done with the first nail to see if this specific client is a tilter of the hand. So here I'm just showing you how the build looks. It's just a beautiful curve with the minimal effort. Alright, now we're just wiping off with acetone to get all the sticky off. So now I'm just going over and reshaping the nails. Just took a little bit with a medium file, and then I'm gonna show you how I do with each and every client. I do the sidewalls with a hand file before I smooth over with the e-file. I just feel like this makes the sidewalls really nice and narrow, with the middle being higher and the apex, and I feel like they're always the same when I do this. When I don't do this, if I just use the e-file, I just feel like it takes longer and they don't look as good. So I never skip this step. Yeah, it makes a world of a difference. I hope you try it. You can go on one side, like start on the left side and go through both hands, and then you switch over to the right side and you do the same. So now I'm just checking the build before moving on to the next hand. You can see if the nail is smooth on the sides if everything goes white like this. If there's a part in there that doesn't go white, there is an unevenness to the nails, so then you either have to just keep filing on that side, or you may have to add some gel if you see that there's something that's maybe missing some gel. I always do the front as well, just to smooth everything down there and make it nice and thin. And then I can use a sander bit and just go really quickly over to make sure everything's smooth. And just make sure you check the side of the nail and the front of the nail to see if everything's even. If you're not sure about the sidewalls, if you check into the front of the nail, you can see if one side, the left or right, is thicker than the other. That can make the nail look like it's a little bit, how can I put it, like turned or like bent if one side is thicker than the other. So when I do this, I usually keep my center bit on level 6. Now I'm just going over with a buffer again to make sure everything's smooth. A good tip for this is that if you're using a color that you know is going to be kind of difficult, like a pastel color, sometimes a neon color, it just depends. You may know, like with your color, especially like white and stuff like that, you want to buff really well, because it's just going to make the application process on the color that much easier. Now just make sure that all of the dust is gone before applying the color, because it's going to look gritty if you get some dust into the color from the cuticles. So I like to buff that really well away, and then I like to go over with some sanitizer. I don't usually use the same colors that I have on my nails, but this color, since I got it, has been really popular, and it's really pretty, as you can see. So just try to go as close to the cuticles. I like to make sort of like a little bit of a thicker bead with the polish and sort of push it up to the cuticles. I feel like it just turns out smoother that way. But then just make sure that you drag down the excess from the cuticles so you don't have like a thick lining there. So there's 7 minutes left of this video. If you're still here, I really appreciate you watching. I love watching nail videos, so I thought it might be fun that I do my own. I've been doing nails for 2 years. In May it will be 2 years that I've been doing gel nails, and I really like it. I really enjoy it. It's still my passion, and I don't do too many nails. Like, I do maybe a maximum of three sets a day, just so that I still love it. And I do get a lot of clients that want designs, and so I really enjoy doing stuff like that. If you like what you see, I hope you subscribe. I'm planning on doing more of these videos in the future. So yeah, it's really fun. With this color, I'm doing 3 coats. I always do 2 coats of color, and with this I just wanted to do 3 because you can't really see on the video, but it is a tiny bit of a neon color, so I just want to make sure that there's nothing peeking through. So what I'm doing now is I'm having the client flip the hand just to drag down the color a little bit and just make it smoother. You'll see when you try this that if there's any bumps or ridges, flipping the hand upside down is just going to smooth it that much more. And again, just make sure that you're holding the client hand. You can do that like I'm doing there, holding the fingers straight so that the color isn't leaking into the cuticle. This is also a really good tip to use if you're using pastel colors or something that you may need to use 3 or even 4 coats of color to get it to be even. Then flipping it upside down like that is really gonna help you. going over with a top coat. And my biggest tip with a top coat is do not skimp on the top coat. You don't want to flood it, because then doing each nail, like the rest is gonna, the first nail you did, the top coat's gonna leak into the cuticle. But there I am flipping the hand again. Make sure you try this. It really, really helps. Anything that's uneven, it's just gonna like make it very nice and smooth. And when I do this, I can see if there's any bubbles that are left, and I just very gently wipe down those bubbles, and then everything looks perfect. So I really recommend that you guys try that. Just flip up the hand, and of course make sure that you're in control of where the fingers land. And you can see that the light that I have above isn't cracking in the nails. It's nice and smooth. It's not going into ridges. That's how you can see if the nails are really nice and smooth and even. In the end of this video, I'm going to show you a few of other sets that I've done, and I have my Instagram in the description bar below if you want to check out what I've done. And if you have any requests on specific sets, then I would really enjoy seeing your comments below and maybe doing something that you request. By the way, this is my first time doing a voiceover, so I hope this was okay. There I'm just applying cuticle oil, and I always put the hand back into the lamp after I apply the cuticle oil. I just feel like the oil gets better into the skin and the nails, so just heat and oil, it's a good combo. And then I'm just very gently going over the shape just to make sure there's no color that's leaked into the sides or anything. Dusting off the excess dust, and then just putting on some oil and into the lamp for a little bit while I rub down the other hand. Alright, and that's it. You can see how the light is going really nice and even into the nails. And yeah, I hope you really liked it. Thanks for watching, guys.